How you doing again? I still feel like shit. I'm going to attempt to have my first cigarette. Uh, I'm hesitating because I'm really still debating whether I should talk about this or not. There are things I'll talk about. There are things I don't, for the simple fact that I know that, as they say, the best way to start an argument is to talk about politics, religion. You can include sports into that, and even cars. You know, and it can turn into a raging, all-out comment thread brawl. I'd see it on Facebook often. I was involved in humor groups, few city groups, what's going on in the city, and we know each other locals, and idle chit chat, conversation, and something would come up about they're doing road work down on Route 18 again. One of the lanes blocked off. In case anybody's be going by there today, expect it's back up. Shit like that, you know what I mean? And there would always be that one person that would have to jump in and spout their politics. They can't help it. They're obsessed with a hatred towards a particular politician. Oh yeah, we can thank our congressman for that. What does a fucking congressman have to do with road construction? You know what I mean? People know. I have strong political ties. My cousin, Antonio Cabral here, Tony Cabral, he's been our congressman since I think like the mid-90s. I have a good friend, we go back many years, Mark Montigny. He's been our senator since around the same time as my cousin Tony. They're both Democrats. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm a registered independent voter. I have no loyalty to either party. I'm going to talk about politics and tell you how I feel about it, my stance, if you want to call it that, and explain myself, which I really don't have to explain myself to anybody, but I'm doing this to hopefully avoid any future situations that could lead to a conflict, you know what I mean, when it's really not necessary. It's not necessary. People get along. I think it should carry on that way. When politics get involved, things can change. I think it's kind of sad, but for some reason it is what it is. People, for some reason, they need to drag their politics into everything. I look at things from a practical, pragmatic, reasonable standpoint, especially when it comes to health issues. I prefer to take the advice of medical experts, not the advice of anyone in politics that tells me what I should do or what I should not do to protect myself and protect others, I'm not loyal to either party. I have voted both ways. Our former governor here, Charlie Baker, was Republican. I was a strong supporter of him. I voted for him. He's the best governor this state's ever had, Republican. We had another Republican governor, Mitt Romney. He was a total fucking disaster. We've had Democratic governors that were great. Some that were just as bad as Mitt Romney, and some other, I see it on both sides. We have good people, there's some Republicans that I like. Adam Kinzinger, I think he's great. Liz Cheney, even though I wasn't big on her father's policies when he was vice president. Was he the one that got shot in the face by his president on a hunting trip or something? He shot somebody on a fucking hunting. I thought it was funny. I laughed at it, you know what I mean? You can laugh at any politician. They've all pulled some boneheaded moves somewhere along the line. So I'm still waiting to light this first cigarette. My coughing has finally calmed down a little bit. I took a throat lozenge. Should I or shouldn't I? I'm going to take a shot here. If I start coughing my brains out, it's because I'm a stupid motherfucker and should have left well enough alone and not lit up this cigarette. I voted both ways, depending on the person. No politician is perfect. But some things I take serious. When it does come to patriotism, loyalty, I have difficulty with a politician that would take sides with a fascist dictator like Putin in Russia. This has nothing to do with politics. This has to do with my personal feelings as a veteran. that served 3.5 years over in the sandbox in Iraq and Afghanistan. I don't like fascists. I've seen what real communism has done to these countries. The leaders that get propped up. Another one of Putin's generals mysteriously died in a fucking plane crash. Why? A little while back, he tried to start a little uprising to, overthrow Putin's military and his regime. The way someone here tried to overthrow an election. You can look at it both ways. You're entitled to your opinion and your view. But when I hear things that I think are of importance, and people drag their politics into it, now, I admit it bothers me a little bit, and I say, why are they doing that? School shootings, it's a hoax. No, these kids died. The extremism, I see extremism on both ends. It's like each side wants all or nothing. There's no more willingness to compromise. And the only way you can maintain a civility in a society and it thrives and flourishes is when there's mutual cooperation. And we seem to have lost that on both ends of the spectrum. Let's go to text. Hold on a second. Oh, it's from Will. Hold on a second. Okay, Will texted me. He's going to be giving me a call. They need to drag their politics into the death of children. They want to take your guns. It's a hoax. It was staged. They were paid actors. They went so far as, I remember on Facebook, oh yeah? Show me the pictures of their dead bodies in the caskets. You have parents that are grieving, suffering. I can't even begin. I have 2 daughters. I can't begin to imagine how I would feel if I lost my children. Especially at young ages like that. I don't know how I would have been able to get through it. And now they had to torture these parents even more. Like, they're supposed to take pictures of their dead children in a casket at a funeral and post it on Facebook to make them fucking happy, to prove that it really happened. That's the extremes they go to. That shit does make me sick to my fucking stomach. Okay? I've seen people choose to have their own belief. They chose to follow their politics rather than the advice of medical experts. And unfortunately, many of them got what they got. They caught COVID. You want to have your beliefs, fine. Don't come up to me. Keep it to yourself. I don't tell people who I vote for. I don't care who you voted for. That's your business. That's my business. Yeah, I'm doing good so far. That throat lozenge really helped. I still have a little fever though. I feel warm. I don't understand these people. Why they feel we need that. Whatever comes down the pike, they need to somehow work their politics into it. Like I said, I was involved in humor groups. A meme would come up, about a girl with big titties, and the way she's standing, a shadow looked like she had a dick or something. It's funny shit. And somebody had to pounce in, oh, that's so-and-so, whoever the politician is, that's so-and-so, that got a sex shit. They need to attack a politician on both sides of the aisle. I saw it. It happens, both ways. And I'd look at that, I'm like, why does this person need to inject their politics, attack a politician when this meme, this post has nothing to do with politics? Why did they do that? Why? Some of you know from a few years back. The major, this COVID thing really hits home with me. Like I said, tomorrow I'll be wearing a mask, even if it's just a common cold, only to help protect the people that I care about. Fellow veterans, that their state of health is not very good. They have emphysema, They have breathing issues. They're struggling just to try to stay healthy. The last thing I want to do is risk their health for my simple cold or flu. So I'll wear a mask. It's called compassion. Nothing to do with politics. I took COVID very serious and had nothing to do with politics due to the fact that it hit really close to home with me. Those of you know, my girl Billy, she's a nurse. RN, LPN, ABCD, EFG, every other certification, you know, and she's good at what she does. That's what she did back in Phoenix when I met her at a hospital. She does that here. She specializes in pediatrics and maternity. She delivers babies when obstetricians are not available. She doesn't do C-sections, things like that, and she does natural birthing and prenatal care, aftercare, mothers, babies. Babies die at times, and I see how it affects her, you know. And when things are slow, she helps out in other areas, works the ER, accident victims. And one time she was in the ER late night, and a guy came in, a good friend of mine, and my nose is running. As long as I'm not coughing, I don't care. And a guy came in. It was a good friend of mine. Paulie. He was a big guy. He was like 6'5", 6'6", 350 pounds. He used to work as a bouncer in a strip club, Foxy Lady. And he went down on his bike on Route 18. He was brought in DOA. And I remember calling me, Brian, Paulie died. They just brought him in. He went down on Route 18 at the S-curve. He used to like to drink a little bit. And I was going a little too fast and lost it on the curve and went off his bike and head first into a guardrail. She was all shook up. So was I. And then when COVID hit New York, they were begging and pleading for nurses and doctors to go and help. Bodies were piling up in refrigerated trailers and parking lots. Morgues and funeral parlors were overrun. They could not keep up with the amount of death. And Billy and 2 other nurses from St. Luke's and 3 nurses from Charlton Memorial Hospital in our neighboring city of Fall River, they volunteered and they went there. Ended up spending 6 weeks there. First 3 weeks working in various hospitals where they were needed. Second 3 weeks in quarantine before they were allowed to come home. She'd call me crying, Brian, you won't believe what's going on here. I don't even know how much more of this I can take. 400 people died today at this hospital that I'm at. Just that one hospital out of many hospitals. It really got to her, you know. I'm not hearing politics. I don't care about politics. I'm looking at death. That's all it means to me, death. What can we do to help prevent this? Until we find, a vaccine, until we find something, what can we do to help at least stop the spread of it? You know what I mean? For me, my choice, if wearing a mask will not only save me, a lot of people have it and they never got any effects of it. But they were carriers, like they say. Like a person can have HIV, not even know it. They start having unprotected sex with other people, now they can give them HIV. That person may not be as fortunate. They could develop the symptoms. They could die. You don't know. And for me, if I don't know something, I'll take the advice of medical experts that even they were saying, wearing a mask isn't going to stop it. It can help stop the spread. It can help people from getting infected from someone that may not even know they're infected. They're not like a Charlie Sheen that knew he had HIV and was banging girls and running the risk of infecting them, you know what I mean? That's just pure stupidity and irresponsibility. I choose the path of being what I feel is a responsible course of action. It's not about me. Me wearing a mask ain't gonna help my fucking cold or the flu. It ain't gonna do a damn bit of good for me. But it could help someone else that they may not be as fortunate as I have and just get a little runny nose, a little fever, and a cough and sniffles. it could cause a severe reaction, especially the people that I will be interacting with. Their state of health is not very good to begin with. So I care about their safety. That's what it comes down to. This is how I look at things. This is why politics don't mean a fucking thing to me in so many areas of life. It just comes down to a sense of humanity. I hope I'm saying this the right way. To me, politics, religion, does not even belong in a conversation concerning things of a basic human nature when it comes to safety, disease, life and death. And if I seem a bit touchy on this subject, it's because it hit real close to home with me. When you have your girlfriend that you love and you've been with for many years, call you crying, saying, Brian, what I'm seeing here, I wasn't expecting this when I got to New York. I don't know if I can go through with it. She ended up doing 3 weeks and 3 more weeks of quarantine before coming home. And she was a different person when she came home. She was a different person. Very quiet, not talkative. Didn't laugh very much. She changed. Like a depression settled into her. And I can understand why, based on what she saw. And what she saw in those 3 weeks, what she went through on a daily basis, holding the hands of dying people. You know what those ventilators are? It's not those little hoses they stick in your nose. It's a fucking tube like this. And it goes right down your throat into your... It's very painful. It's even the ones that, and they're conscious. So people are screaming, and as they're dying, they're screaming in agony, take this out of me. But we had to leave it in there because we knew it was going to help to save their life. And even in some cases, they were so far advanced it didn't. And then we'd have to pull it out, put their body in a bag and send it out to a trailer, refrigerated trailer in the parking lot of the hospital with 30 other fucking trailers there loaded with fucking bodies. You tell me where politics fits into this. You tell me. You better have a damn good fucking reason. You better be able to rationalize it and have it make some sort of sense. What does politics have to do with it? They say we follow our heart. I do, and I try to follow my head and look at the situation for what it is. There are many things in life that I take very serious, always will. That to me, politics plays no role in it. Never has, never will. When it comes to politics, I guess I'm not an extremist, And I'll end as I started saying, the reason I have no loyalty, allegiance, to either party, I look at an individual on an individual basis, is that I just see too much extremism at both ends of the political spectrum. Each side wants all or nothing, And please do me a favor. You want to jump at the comments bashing Biden or bashing Trump or whatever, please don't do that. That's not what this is about. That's not what this is about. Some things have never been about politics for me. Never will be. I tend to look at things from a more human perspective than anything else.